While my friends were testing my game, I took the time to improve the visuals, fix known issues and refactor lots of things. Since the last video I also added a lot of new content, such as new buildings, building upgrades and all types of hazards. At the end I show you the tornado ability. Welcome to another devlog. I improved the look of the game by adding an outline shader to the camera. I used a shader from Godot shaders as a base and added a few custom parts to it, such as fog affecting the outline based on the distance. I also changed the user interface to dark transparent, giving it a more clean look. Lastly, I amplified the emission of all bright objects and added a bloom in varying strengths to 3 of my maps. I think the game looked much better already, without even improving the 3D models themselves. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. After fixing a big list of errors and warnings that showed in the console, I migrated from Godot 4.3 to 4.6. It was the first time I changed the engine version in this project. Nothing broke, so it was a very smooth version upgrade. The largest refactor I made was around combat. My first vision was to have multi-sided fights that must be activated or joined, and it could end in 3 different ways: in an opponent escaping, surrendering or getting incapacitated. The winner then could select rewards to take from the losing sides. With a costly talent you could destroy the enemy instead of incapacitation. I planned this form of combat to give chance to different playstyles such as trading and thievery, enough time to make their own actions. But usually when I showed my game to people, most often they were only interested in the combat and seeing the villagers fight it out. In the end, I decided to pivot towards a combat-focused RTS game, like most of them are, and this kind of combat system was not necessary anymore. Not only will this decision reduce the development time, since I don't need to implement the new playstyles, it also makes the gameplay more familiar to a wider audience. So, what does this mean in practice? Well, I made it so that you can always attack other villages and can even shoot the platform directly to destroy and drop the computer player out of the game. You could also now select the priority target for the buildings to shoot at. To prevent instantly going to another village to destroy it, I made the platform shoot defensive projectiles that are stronger than the ballistas in the early game. To be honest, this change made the game feel a lot more smoother. I guess this is one of those moments where the saying, if it works, don't fix it, holds true. The refactoring also included things like optimization and hierarchy changes, but I won't bore you with those. Let's move on to the new content. A common RTS element that was still missing from my game was building upgrades, such as making villagers gather faster, so I implemented that system. It was pretty easy to add, but the more time-consuming part will be designing more upgrades and creating icons for them. Which is totally fine, since that is the most fun part of creating video games in my opinion. Speaking of buildings, I created 10 new ones. Here is a quick overview of them. Loot chest is a common building that adds more max diamond storage. Workshop is an utility building that repairs all of your buildings over time. You can have multiple to increase the effect. Meal is an utility building that adds 1 gatherer, so you can occupy more resources on a resource spot and gather faster. Academy is a utility building that generates blueprints. It unlocks after upgrading to a 3x3 size platform. Armory is a utility building that has powerful combat upgrades to buy. It also unlocks on a 3x3 platform. Logging camp is a utility building that generates the primary resource of the village, so wood for wood platform and so on. Again, unlocks on a 3x3 platform. Watchtower is a defensive combat building that only shoots back at enemies. Rooftop catapult is an offensive combat building that automatically shoots enemies at range. It deals a lot of damage with high base damage and addition of 10% of the target's max hit points. Fortress is an offensive combat building that shoots 3 projectiles at a time. It is very durable and deals great damage. Its size is 4x4 and thus unlocks after upgrading to a 4x4 platform. Marketplace is a trade building that generates diamonds over time, has building upgrades that cost diamonds and also enables trading. At the moment I have 16 buildings. I will add about 5 more of them when I start creating the races and their unique buildings. And lastly, there are the hazards. For the longest of time I had only the fire hazard, an elemental hazard which deals damage over time to a building. Now there is also Ice, that deals damage on impact and reduces the operation efficiency of the building. Shock, that slightly reduces operation efficiency of the building and deals damage to nearby buildings. Corruption, that deals a lot of damage in increasing ticks. Along the elemental hazards there are also 3 physical ones, which are Damage, that deals damage over a longer time. Malfunction, that slightly reduces the operation efficiency for a longer time. Broken, that sets the operation efficiency to 0, preventing the function of the building for a short time. I am starting to feel that I need to create a video explaining all the mechanics in the game. What do you think? The newest addition to the orbs is Orb of Winds, which give you Twisters and Tornado ability. Twisters orbit the cast point and slow others, but the caster can consume them for a good movement speed boost. Finally, here is the Tornado ability that deals massive damage if you are near, even to the caster. Now that the core mechanics and buildings are in place, I need to update the computer player logic to take all this into account so it can hopefully give a decent challenge to the player. Thank you for watching and please comment and subscribe to help the channel. Until next time.